Every haunted house story starts the same way. Someone moves in, someone throws a party, and somewhere between the music and the laughter, something in the house makes itself known. Tonight, two true stories, real names, real houses, real witnesses who were there when it happened. Sober, together, in a room full of people who all saw the same thing. One happened at a college party in 1972, in front of a house full of strangers. The other happened at a woman's own housewarming, in her own home, told to her by a friend who had no way of knowing what she was about to say. Both are documented, both still don't have an explanation. Stay till the end, because the second story has a detail that, once you hear it, you're going to think about the next time you're at a party in someone's house, and you notice their pet won't go into one particular room. Let's get into it. It's 1972, Ann Arbor, Michigan. A group of University of Michigan students are hosting a party in a house on Ashley Street, the kind of low-key college gathering that happens every weekend in every college town in America. Music playing, people spread out through the rooms, nothing out of the ordinary. Among the guests is a 15-year-old girl, younger than everyone else there, tagging along with an older crowd she probably had no business being around. But that's beside the point. What happened to her that night is the part that stuck around for over 50 years. At some point during the party, she felt cold. Not someone left a window open, cold. A sudden, bone-deep chill that came out of nowhere, the kind of cold that doesn't match the room you're standing in. Trying to shake it off, she did the logical thing. She went upstairs, away from the crowd, figuring she'd warm up somewhere quieter. That decision put her directly in the path of something that, decades later, still doesn't have an explanation. Once she was upstairs, one of the walls in the room began to move. Not shake, move. And as it did, a shapeless black shadow started approaching her from across the room. Whatever she felt in that moment sent her straight back downstairs, back to the noise and the people, and the safety of a crowded room. Except the party downstairs wasn't the same party she'd left minutes earlier. While she'd been upstairs, posters that had been taped up around the main room had started peeling off the walls on their own, falling to the floor, piling up, as if something had been moving through the room while everyone was distracted. This wasn't one drunk kid's story that got exaggerated by morning. Multiple guests at that party, sober college students in a house full of witnesses, confirmed seeing the posters fall on their own. Nobody could explain the sudden cold. Nobody could explain the shadow. Nobody could explain the wall. It made it into the University of Michigan's own student newspaper at the time. Not as a spooky rumor traded around campus, but as a reported incident with multiple corroborating witnesses. Which is part of why it's held up as one of the stranger documented "something happened, and everyone at the party agrees" stories in the school's history. So if you ever find yourself at a party in an old house and you feel a cold that doesn't make sense, maybe don't go upstairs alone to warm up. Baltimore, 2005. A woman named Laura Karras had just moved into a row house on Bond Street, in the historic Fells Point neighborhood, a home built all the way back around 1880. To celebrate, she did what anyone would do. She threw herself a housewarming party, combined with her birthday, and filled the place with friends for the first time since moving in. Nothing about the night felt unusual. Good music, good company, a new home to show off. Then, at some point in the evening, one of her friends glanced toward a corner of the living room and said something that made the whole party feel very different. "You know you have a ghost here, right?" Laura laughed it off until her friend followed up with a question that had no business being asked. Her friend nodded toward that same corner and asked whether Laura had ever noticed her own cat refusing to go into that room. And that's when it hit her, because it was true. Her cat, a normally affectionate, clingy animal named Nemoy, would happily curl up anywhere else in the house. But whenever Laura sat down to watch TV in that particular living room, the cat would stop dead at the doorway and simply refuse to cross it. Every single time. Laura had noticed this pattern for weeks. She had never told a single person about it. Not her friend, not anyone at that party. There was no way for anyone standing in that room to know that detail. And yet her friend had pointed at the exact corner, described the exact behavior, without being told a single word about it. Laura was so shaken, she didn't watch television in that room again for an entire week. A few days later, working in her home office on the top floor, she heard it. A loud thump. Thump echoing up from downstairs, like a heavy picture frame had come loose and hit the floor. She went down to check. Nothing had fallen. Nothing was out of place. Not a single frame was crooked on the wall. But both of her cats were frozen, staring intently at something in the room that Laura couldn't see. The knocking continued on and off for the rest of that week, some nights louder than others. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it faded, and never really came back the same way again. Laura came to believe the house had one more resident than she'd realized when she signed the lease. A little girl, watching quietly from that same corner, her cat refused to enter. She never called anyone in to get rid of it. She never tried to cleanse the house or move out. She just learned to live alongside her. The story's been on public record since 2023, when Laura shared it, under her own name, at her own address, as part of a feature collecting real haunted house accounts across Baltimore. So the next time a friend casually mentions your pet won't go somewhere in your house, you might want to ask them why they're looking at that corner like that. 2 houses, 2 parties, 2 groups of people who walked in expecting nothing more than good company, and walked out with a story they still tell decades later. That's the thing about these cases. No jump scares needed, no special effects. Just ordinary people, at ordinary parties, who all happen to notice the same impossible thing at the same time. If you've ever felt that unexplained cold in an old house, or watched your own pet refuse to walk into a room for no reason at all, you might already know exactly what these people are talking about. If this one got under your skin, let me know in the comments. And if you've got your own true story like this, I want to hear it. It might end up in a future episode. Until next time, maybe check which rooms your pets avoid.